guys. Today I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to file for a trademark. So there's some resources you can use online, and I've got some steps for you to follow. I am going to have to refer to my notes constantly on this because it's just so much things and I don't remember all the steps in it. I've been through the process 2 times now, so I'm just taking that information, the process, what I've learned, and just giving the information back to you, and I'll kind of summarize it up. It's a good amount of information, so bear with me on this. I'm only going to write the steps up on the board, but I'm just going to go over everything and just free flow with it. So here we go. All right, so step 1, I'm going to write the steps up on the board, but that'll be all that I write up on the board. So step 1, when trying to file a trademark, is finding out is it right for me, basically, right? You're trying to find out if this is even the right process you need to be doing. I don't know what you're trying to trademark. So how you determine whether a trademark application is right for you or not is basically by going by this, what I'm about to tell you. Trademarks, patents, copyrights, domain names, and business name registrations all differ. They all differ, sorry. So it's important to learn whether a trademark is appropriate for you. So let's acknowledge that first, and that's why step 1 is it right for you, to make sure that this is even the process that you need to be taking, because I don't know what you're trying to do. So a trademark typically protects brand names and logos or slogans used on goods and services. A patent protects an invention, and a copyright protects like an original artistic literary work, sorry. So we're not doing a copyright, we're not doing a patent, we're doing a trademark. We're talking about trademarking, okay? So trademarks, like I said, usually protect brand names, logos, or slogans on services and goods. For instance, our logo and our slogan. It's not necessarily our slogan, but it's one of our slogans. So I trademarked our logo right here, okay, a couple years back. And then I wanted to trademark a slogan, so I trademarked the slogan, "Make locksmithing great again." And we have both those trademarks. I haven't got the official "Make Locksmithing Great Again" trademark yet, but I do have the official Guardian Safe and Lock logo trademark. If you want to zoom in real quick on that. This is what they give you once it's been approved and it's ready to roll. So you can, after you get this sheet, you can put it up on your shelf and put it in a little frame like this if you want, or do whatever you want with it. But this is what they give you once you accomplish your trademark. So it comes from the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which is USPTO.gov. So, and I'm gonna go back to that website for you. So domains are different, like .coms, right? So we have guardiansafeandlock.com. But that's not a trademark thing. I just own that domain. So anyway, is it right for you? So now that you know what a trademark does, brand names, slogans, or logos, if it's a patent or a copyright thing that you're looking for, that's another video. So after you determine that it's right for you, then, and how you can determine that too, if you want some information, I'm gonna write this website up here because this is the most, it's just USPTO.gov. And that's United States Patent Trademark Office or something like that. Yeah, United States Patent and Trademark Office. So a trademark identifies goods or services as being from a particular source. Having a domain like a .com does not qualify for or indicate trademark use, because you have to prove use of trademark. So if I have makelocksmithinggreatagain.com, then, and I was like, there's the proof I've been using it, they're gonna say that's not valid proof. So neither does the use of business name qualify for a trademark use necessarily. So just because I registered a DBA doing business as Guardian Safe and Lock doesn't mean I own the rights to the name Guardian Safe and Lock. So step 2, now that we've determined whether, what's for what on a trademark, step 2 is selecting your mark and applying, basically, starting to apply. So I'm gonna put step 2 is selecting mark. Selecting mark, meaning like the logo, for instance, mark. And I'll just put in applying, basically. Okay. Now, once you determine that the type of protection you need is in fact a trademark, it's trademark protection, then selecting the mark is the very first step. overall in the application and registration process. So this must be done with thought and care because every mark is registerable with the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. So you have to get the mark format first. So you must identify your mark format, like our logo, for instance. That's the format. It's a G, and you have to explain it. The G turns into a key, and it uses this shape, and you turn all that stuff in. So that's creating your mark. So it says identifying your mark format is a standard character mark, a stylized design mark, or a sound mark. And then they have videos on the USPTO website too. So if you're like, for each one of these they have videos. So you're like, oh, what do you mean by mark format? Click video mark format. So everything's there for you on the USPTO.gov website. I'm just kind of giving you a quick summarized version of it. If you want to check it out, if you're going to do it, go check out their website. So after you determine the mark, you have to identify what goods and services this is going to apply to. So you have to clearly state what goods or services the mark will be used for. Like in ours, I think we did like cups, shirts, stickers, pens, online merch. That's what we picked. And you want to always search for similar trademarks in the USPTO database because you don't know if someone already has that, but you can go in there and search the database and determine if it's already used or if someone hasn't registered yet. You can find all that online on the USPTO.gov website. So after you identify what goods and services you're going to do, because it's kind of like a class, you're like, I'm going to use it for XYZ. After you do that, and you search and make sure there's nothing out there already existing, before filing the application, you must know what your basis for filing is. Okay? So, and do I have to use one in the first place? If you have to use an attorney, because you might have to use an attorney also. If a foreign domiciled, then you must be represented by the USPTO by an attorney. If you are not domiciled in the United States or its territories, you are not required to have an attorney, even though they strongly encourage that you do use one. So this is where when I started doing my research, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to have an attorney take care of this. So you can go through their website and do everything on there, or you can go to a company like LegalZoom, which is where I went, or you can go to Trademark Engine. There's different websites. So I just wanted to have somebody there along the way to make sure that they're watching my back and they're checking the boxes off. I don't want any problems or mistakes because regardless of it getting declined or accepted, you're out the money regardless. So if you can find out everything ahead of time and talk to a professional ahead of time before you put that money in, that's the best case scenario. So you can use a different company like LegalZoom or Trademark Engine if you wanted to. So step 3, after you select your mark, this is what it's going to be. It's going to be a G, it turns into a key, and it does this and that. And after you apply for it, step 3 is going to be basically preparing and submitting the application, that is. So you have to go in there. This is if you're not going to use like a LegalZoom or Trademark Engine or one of those companies. You don't have to use them. So, but if you're doing it on your own, just keep following these steps. And it's good to know these steps regardless of you doing it your own or not, because they're going to send you paperwork and be like, we need this and this and this. What does that abbreviation stand for? And if you're familiar with it, then it's a lot easier. It's not that hard. It costs about, I'd say probably to go through the whole process is usually around $1,200 total with lawyer fees and stuff like that. Based off the things that I've done at least, which is just the logo and the slogan. So set up the USPTO.gov account. That's what you're going to do in step 3. You're going to have to access the Trademark electronic application system and log into the USPTO.gov account with the 2-step authentication. Set up the account, and then you have your trademark application. You fill the application out online, and then you basically submit it. There is an application fee. The application fee is the processing fee, I'm sorry. And not all applications are going to be accepted, and you will not get refunded regardless. You will not get refunded regardless of the situation. So then after you After you do that and you get the application filled out, you're gonna have to monitor the status of it, because this is gonna go on for a while. It takes about a year to get everything done. It takes about a year. So monitoring the application status. So throughout the entire process, you're responsible for monitoring the progress of your application through the trademark status and document retrieval system. Okay, TSDR, on their website, the USPTO.gov website. You must check the status of your application at least every 6 months after the initial filing of the application, because otherwise you may miss a deadline. You want to make sure it's critical that you maintain and update your address, including your email address, and they have a video for you to watch there too. So there's always a video. So each step, you're like, I wasn't sure what that meant. Click on the video, watch the video, or hire a professional. After step 3, you get it all done, you're monitoring it. You're going to work with an assigned examining attorney with U.S. Patent Office, or you'll be working with the attorney that you got through LegalZoom or somebody else. So step 4, right? You're gonna work with USPTO attorney, basically. Okay. Now, there's a lot of questions I wanted to get answers for up front, which is why I went with LegalZoom, because a lot of things aren't 100% clear. You're like, well, I don't know if it's this one or even this one. And having an attorney that you can quickly email back and forth because they sign you one through LegalZoom is fantastic. It was very easy, very simple, minimal time investment whenever I use LegalZoom. Then, at that point, when you're working with an attorney, USPTO will review the application. After they've determined that you've met the minimum filing requirements, they'll give you a serial number for the application, and it's assigned to it and is forwarded to an examining attorney. This may take a couple months too to get through. Then the attorney will review the application and then determine whether it complies with, whatever the rules and statutes, and got all the fees that they wanted. They're going to make sure that it complies with the rules, the statutes, and that you've included all required fees. Then USPTO issues a letter, which I've got a couple of these letters now because I went through the process. If the examining attorney determines that the mark should not be registered, the examining attorney will issue a letter explaining why you shouldn't. And if there's some minor corrections that can be made that would make it better, then they'll let you know that too. Because before I did mine, they said, well, if you go through like a period, they're like, okay, you submitted it, we got everything. Now they do a search and they comb everything through and they look everything and they say, okay, is this too many things like it or there's nothing like it, and we're going to approve it or keep moving forward, or we're not going to allow them to move forward, or we're not going to recommend them to move forward, because it's possible that they deny it. Then you're going to have to respond to the letter they send, because they're going to send you that letter, and you must submit a response to the office within 6 months of the issue date. And then I believe on ours they had, what was it? It was a proof. They wanted it was like proof of use or something like that. I have a file right here. They want you to show that you are using it, because I had to turn in basically all the different pictures of the cups and mugs and have the words on it, and the price tag. You have to have price tags for it, the item with using the slogan or the logo on it, and you have to submit all these pictures to them. And you can't just submit a picture of something. They want to see that you're selling it. They want it priced. They want it on the shelf. They want it tagged. So there's a lot of things you have to do. But they gave me let's see if I have it right here. Can't figure out what the exact name of it was, but it was here it is. So after that 6-month deadline, you could either do an extension because you're not ready to prove that you used it, or you can just go ahead and file, I think it's called a SOU. A statement of use. That's what it is. I couldn't think of what it's called. So once you file that statement of use, that's what I'm talking about. Here's the price tag pictures with the items, it's on your shelf, we're selling it, it's being used. You have to prove that. So after you get them that, then basically they have to review it, and assuming they approve that, they'll issue that it's approved or denied, and you'll get that in the mail whether they approve or deny it. And then the USPTO will publish that mark. And then as long as the examining attorney raises no objections, not obligations, as long as the examining attorney raises no objections to registration, or if you overcome those objections, and the examining attorney will approve the mark for publication in the official gazette. That's what the like a little slot. That's like a newsletter, I guess, kind of a thing. It's called the official gazette. It's a weekly publication of the USPTO. So they'll send out a notice of publication stating the date of publication. After the mark is published in the official gazette, any party who believes it may be damaged by registration of the mark has 30 days from the publication date to either file either in opposition to registration or request to extend the time to oppose. So that's like the last thing they do. They put it out there and like, okay guys, this is what we're about to do. Anybody out there object? Anybody out there have anything similar? You got 30 days. No one sends anything back, then boom, then you're in business. And that's, I believe, when they sent me that form there. So the registration certificate issues for applications based on use. Notice of allowance issues for applications based on an intent to use the mark. So this is where I was telling you about where you're submitting the SOU. I just wanted to go back on this real quick here. The applicant has 6 months from the mailing date of the notice of allowance in which to either file a statement of use or file an extension. So like I said, you file the statement of use, you have that, they approve it, you get that. But the last final step is kind of a step. It is important. I forgot to write step 5, which is kind of a step. It's just you're receiving approval or denial. Yeah, so I'll write down receive approval or denial. Right? That's kind of before this last one. And then your step 6 is just maintaining it, basically. It's just maintaining your registration, because I'll explain what you need to maintain. Like for instance, I had to change the address because we moved location, so I wanted to change the address where my trademark is registered to. So that's maintaining. So once they issue the certificate, you can monitor the registration status through the TSDR system on the USPTO.gov website. You gotta make sure you keep your address updated, email address. And then right here it says, you are responsible for enforcing your rights if you receive a registration because the USPTO does not police the use of your marks. So while the USPTO attempts to ensure that no other party receives a federal registration for an identical or similar mark for or as applied to related goods services, the owner of a registration is responsible for bringing any legal actions to stop the party from using infringing mark. So basically, that's what that official gazette's for. You see that in there, you look at, what's out this month in here? Oh no, this guy is trying to pass something here. This looks just like my logo. Well, then you got to go into the USPTO and you got to challenge that and say, no, this guy's trying to get my logo. I disagree with that. He shouldn't have that. Now, I haven't done that, so I don't know how that works, but that's what you would do. So if you want to skim every month, the official gazette comes out from the USPTO. You can. Most people don't do it. They don't have time to do that or don't think about it. But it's good to check in here and there and make sure that no one's using anything similar to yours, or they're not getting approved for anything too similar to yours or identical. Anyway, hopefully this helps you out a little bit. Like I said, you can go to LegalZoom. You can go to another company if you want. You can go straight to the source, USPTO.gov. I recommend, especially if it's your first time, I'd go with like LegalZoom or someone like that, just because of the fact that you got someone there, you're busy working, you're trying to do this on the side, and they're watching your back, and they're gonna make sure you don't waste any money or waste any time. So hopefully this helps you out. Maybe you got a logo or a saying you want to trademark or whatever. If you have any questions, you can put them down below in the comments and just let us know, and I'll try to get back to you and answer those questions. I'm not an expert, but this is a good summary, a good overview of what you need to do, and it's from my personal experience. So thanks for tuning in to UDROpreneur again. We appreciate the support. The channel's growing really well. I think we're at like 210 now, so we're slowly moving up there, trying to catch up to our other channels. Don't forget, we have Guardian Safe and Lock, which is another channel. It's our main channel. And then we have, of course, this one, UDROpreneur, and then Guardian Approved. And on that YouTube channel, all we do is unbox products, install them, test them, review it, and then that's it on the Guardian Approved channel. So don't forget, we're on all the social media platforms, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We appreciate the support as always, and thanks for tuning in.